Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This Sunday morning, we'll be discussing about a very interesting topic where the Guru Vasistha is asking his disciple Sri Ramchandra to go beyond the mind. Before that, as usual, let us begin with this stotra. Dikaladi anabachinna ananta chinmatra murtaye svanubhuti ekamanaya nama shantaya tejase. This, the Supreme Brahman, who is beyond all qualities, tranquil, above all limitations, time, space and causation, the embodiment of infinite consciousness, and can be known only through proof of one's own experience, I bow down. The consciousness, that is the only thing that the Hindus they believe. That this is the consciousness that is pervading everywhere. It is the consciousness which has taken different forms. It is the consciousness we have to go back. Those who are trying to get the permanent peace, permanent joy and happiness, our goal is to go back to that pure consciousness. Now, how to go? Because the problem is our mind. From the mind only everything we are creating. What is this mind again? The same consciousness, as if taking a different form and an individual way, slowly it has created such a vast this world and so many varieties, our own creation, our own imagination, our own dream. But we are thinking this as the real and getting stuck to this. So, this is exactly the great teacher Vasistha instructing his student Sri Rama to be careful about the mind. When the mind is allowed to play with the worldly objects, it binds the person. In the last class we have discussed, it was the last mantra, last verse of the second chapter, and it says, I think in the third chapter and 25th verse, it says, Mono eva ullasat matram baddhatam agamat yataha. Ullasat, if you allow the mind to play with the objects of this world, it will bind you. Mana prasamanat Rama moksha eva avashishyate. If you just control the mind and stop all the vibrations of the desires, then that is the moksha, that is the mukti, that is the nirvana. This month, the May, the two great personalities, spiritual personalities, the birth centenary we have celebrated, we have remembered. Both of them, the Lord Buddha and Sri Shankara, they were born a few years before, few hundred years before Lord Jesus and few hundred years after Lord Jesus. But both these great personalities, one is Lord Buddha and another Shankara, is taking us, showing us, urging us to go towards liberation. And Shankara is telling moksha, mukti, and Lord Buddha is telling nirvana. But it is the same thing. Why they are asking us to do that? Because otherwise, every time we are suffering just because we are dreaming there is a ghost and cannot come out of that type of thoughts. So, constantly we are imagining and thinking, oh, that is a wonderful thing, if I can achieve that, I will be very happy. I am pursuing for that. All my energy I spend for that. And when I reach to that, acquire that, have that, then I am not happy. So this is the problem constantly. Then I turn and see something glittering and in a little distance. Oh, that must be a very costly thing. Let me go and get it. Again I am going over there and nothing. So this is going on, repeating after repeating, so many lives after lives. Then these great personalities, the supreme consciousness, as if taking the form of Lord Buddha, the great Shankara, and they are asking us, so only control your mind. Lord Buddha is also telling, vipassana, observe your mind. In the Buddhist tradition and afterwards, different type of, that they developed after Buddha, the vipassana and all that, observing your mind, analyze your mind, why it is behaving like that, and completely detach yourself from the mind. That's all. Yeshana means the desire. Vasana is the desire. These are all different terminologies, but the same. And desire for what? All the sense objects. So what are the objects? So we know the 5 objects are there, because they have, though there are many different things, they are shortlisted in 5. So those things we are enjoying through our sense organs, they are also 5 and dedicated to a particular object. Eye goes only for the rupa, the figure, the form. And similarly, the nose only for the smell. So 5 organs dedicated for 5 sense objects. It brings all the information. In Sanskrit we call it ahara, aharana, collecting, and then it goes to the mind and making the mind mad. Result, suffering. And when we are suffering, we are going to another person who is also bound in that same way and is telling, look, my friend, I am suffering so much, feeling lonely, what to do? They let us go to the pub, let us enjoy another bondage. By that way, every time when you are going to a wrong person for the direction, he is taking us the more bondage, more darkness, more suffering. Hence the consciousness itself, as if taking the form of Lord Buddha, Lord Jesus, and the Shankara, Swami Vivekananda, they are coming again and again to guide us. Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he is giving us the how we are getting bound. So it says that when we are going close to the object, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is describing the process, how it happens, how the mind is going to the object and getting bound. Friends, these are the things which is called spirituality. Understanding the problems and then solving the problem. These are the 2 things. In our daily life, what we do, we try to understand why it is happening like this, and at the same time, we try to solve that. Now, a great problem the whole world over we are facing, that is, the name is COVID-19. And millions of people, thousands of people dying, and so many things are happening. Now, the administrations, the governments, they are trying to hide the number, because otherwise the people will blame, you could not control. How those poor people will control? No, so many confusion is going on. Government officers are also human beings, they are also afraid. Now the research is going on, trying to find out the medicines, and when they are finding the medicine, some people are doubting about that, whether that will work or not. We know the last 2 years, the total confusion all over the world. Now slowly people are trying to understand, and little bit of think the problem is solving. Now the countries like America and few countries like Europe, they have found, well, like this way it is possible. Distance, taking the medicine, living a controlled life, that can save you. So this problem comes, and then we look at it, solve it. An eternal problem for the human being. We may be saved from the COVID by taking the vaccines, but who is going to stop the death? I am going to die, if not in COVID, in something else. All of us are going to die. So it is inevitable. We cannot stop it. Then is that the end of the life? The moment we die, problems are solved. Some people think in that way and they commit suicide. That is not the solution. Why? Because there is another body within this, the gross body. It's called subtle body. It's called Linga Sharira. So that is Vedanta. They analyze what are the things that is happening. All these 5 organs that we see, the 5 plus 5, 10 organs are there in the human body. Then the mind, then the intellect, these are the 17. The subtle portion of those 17 is called Linga Sharira, or the subtle body, which is traveling from different bodies. This body will be burnt or buried. This external body, there's the gross body, but that subtle body will travel. So we have to be careful about that subtle body. How to stop that? What is the force in that, the life in that subtle body? What is actually forcing that body to go? Desire. So they have also found out that the desire is the main force. If you are controlling the desire, then that subtle body cannot travel. If you are not putting the gas, then your vehicle won't move. The same way, if you are not giving the desire, satisfying the desire, not feeding the mind with desire, it won't move. And that is called mana amana bhavati. The mind becomes no mind. So here let us see what the Lord Krishna is telling. How we are bound. The one step that we take by mistake, it takes us down, down, down and down till we crash ourselves. Dhayato vishayan pumsha shangasteshu pujayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodha abhijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti bhamshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. Those who know a little bit of Sanskrit or any Indian language, these are the common words. And it says, Dhayato Vishayan Pumsaha. The human being, when they are thinking about an object, advertisement comes. There's a beautiful car. If you are not having this car, that means you are simply losing everything in your life. And in the advertisement, they will show a seashore, and the people are lying on that the shot of the bed, and they are drinking something and enjoying. If you are not having that, you are losing everything of your life, as if. And we go mad after seeing those advertisements. Immediately contact them, book the ticket, go over there. And when you come back, burning our whole body, and this is all painful, lying on that. But still next time, again the advertisement comes, go to the green, be under the water. We again go, again do that, and again come back dissatisfied. Are you not doing it again and again we are doing? So this is the Dhayato Vishayan Pumsha. Look at it, how psychologically they have analyzed it. The moment we are meditating of an object, Pumsha means the human being meditating on that object. The moment you say that Sangasteshu Pujayate, then you like to get the company of that. Most of the Indian ladies, girls I have seen, when they see the golden, the jewelries, and they will be standing over there, they will be appreciating that, they will be asking for that, and somehow they will put on that, and they will be so happy, but it is so heavy. And then constantly on the body, I don't think it is very comfortable. But anyway, they think they are looking very good and people are also appreciating. And when they go back, remove all those jewelries, they become free. But still they think, I have that jewelry, which is so costly, others are not happy. These are called desire. One day that was stolen by someone else. It was not yours. It was in the shop, you purchased it, you kept it, but it was stolen. Now he will go to the police, he will complain and cry for that. So many things will happen. The first thing, it was going on, suddenly he saw in the shop, and the window shopping as they call, you saw it, you got attracted to it, then you possessed that, then you lost it, then all this problem comes. Dhayato Bishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pujayate. The moment you have the Sangha, the company of that object, Sangat Sanjayate Kama. You were standing before the shop and you were from the window, you were seeing something, then you felt the attraction, you entered into that, then you check your credit card, it is good, then I can go for it. Sangha Kama. Kama means the desire to possess that. Now when you try to purchase, there is not much money in your credit card. And you call your parents, you call your friends, call your family, can you please help me? Nobody could help you because that was not possible for them that moment. Kamat krodha vijayate. Then you become very angry because your desire is not satisfied, because that is not fulfilled. Then you go, maybe I am just, God forbid, one should not think in that way. Then you go try to steal that. And you are captured by the girl and given to the police. And then ultimately you end up in the prison. From where it started? From outside, from the window, you saw an object, a glittering object, nothing but a metal, nothing but a metal. But we thought it's a gold and beautiful jewelry. You are thinking. Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodha vijayate. You become angry. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, deluded. You forget who are you, what you are going to do, what will be the result of it. You forget all about that. That is called sammoha. You are completely deluded. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. All the training, all the teaching, all the advices that you received, you got, you grew up with that, you forget all those. Smriti bhamshat buddhi nasho. The buddhi means the determinative capacity. No, it is okay. If I am not having now, I can have afterwards. Or even if I am not having, it doesn't matter at all. Millions of people is not having like this. It is okay for me. No, that is also vanished. That is also gone. Buddhi nasho. Buddhi nashat. Last verse is pranashyati. You are destroyed. So only one step that you took, that took you so low and down, ultimately you ended up in a great misery. So that is why the uncontrolled mind is the cause of bondage. Hence, intelligent people desire to go beyond the suffering of birth and death, should strive to control the mind. Therefore, Rishi Vasistha insisted Sri Rama to control his mind. Mana prashamanat Rama. O Rama, try to control your mind. But why? because that is the liberation. If you can control the mind, that is the liberation. Moksha eva avashishyate. If you just control the mind, what is mind? Nothing but the desires. What is mind? Nothing but the thoughts. That is why the meditation is nothing but controlling the thought waves. Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. The teacher, Patanjali, he is teaching us in his famous book on the yoga. And the very first line, he is telling Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. We have to control the Chitta. Chitta means the storehouse of our thought. It's not the mind. Mind is only one portion that is working with that. But we have so many in the stock. We have to clean the whole stock. The old stock should be given away. Then completely clear that and bring the new thought. In the store of thought, whatever the desires were there, everything should go away. Then the new desire should come. What is that? I like to be enlightened, like the Buddha. I like to go back to the source, like the Jesus. I like to know myself. Who am I? Like the Shankara. So this is the way we have to think. We have to make the process. The first is you have to clean your store. Otherwise the new things cannot enter into it. It is already there, all jumbled up. So we have to first clean all those desires. Now how many desires are there? 3 types only. These 3 types of desires we have to give up. For the body, so that we have to give up, the desire to make it comfortable, to this, that, so many, connected it only with the body. And then the appreciation from the people. The lokaishana, putraishana, vittaishana. The vitta means the wealth, ishana means the desire. All these 3 we have to clean. When that mind is clean, moksha eva vashishyate. You will be completely full of joy, satisfied. Now what for we try to possess? The car, the build houses, this, that. Why we like to have? For the happiness, for the joy. If we don't get happiness, then what is the meaning of it? I book a room in this 7-star hotel and I go, the people are, and I should be satisfied at least. The people are saluting me, then they are taking me to my suite, then I am there, and from there I am observing the ocean and all. I should feel at least satisfied. After there you stand and say, hey, what is there in the ocean? I can't see anything, only a little bit of water here and there. You are dissatisfied. When you are lying down on the bed, hey, what is there in the special bed? The same bed I was having in my room. So why I have spent so much of money? You are dissatisfied. You lose both your money and also your satisfaction. Everything has gone. You come back dissatisfied, isn't it? Instead, if you do the vichara, what I am going to gain over there? A little cup of coffee that will cost nearly $100 because it is 7-star hotel. And the same coffee I can drink in somewhere else with $5. I can save $95. That money I can give to someone over there who is so hungry, sitting with her children on the street. I can help that. That is called, if you are purifying your mind with your thought and action. So that means it comes to unselfishness. The moment you are unselfish, love develops. And love and unselfishness, that is God. Swami Vivekananda gave the definition of God. Unselfishness is God. Here we are discussing about the Advaita Vedanta, no conception of God. It is only you and you alone. So we are constantly judging, analyzing, discriminating, trying to understand who am I. The moment I say I, my hand goes on my chest and I immediately think of this body and the association of this body with my family, my father, mother, family, then my society, then my country, my culture, my language. But is that me? Truly? I was telling again and again, suppose someone took a picture of mine when I was a small little kid lying on the lap of my mother. Then I was only 3 years, 4 years old. That time also picture was there. But after that, all the connection lost. I grew up somewhere else. And when I am 25, 30 years old, young person, when I go, somebody shows me, this is you. Shall I be able to recognize me? The me who was lying on the lap of mother? I won't. If the person is very close to me, I will believe. Or otherwise, no, I don't think this is me. That is adoption. People go from here, adopt the Indian and other children. They come over here, they grow up over here. They don't have any connection with the place where he or she was born. Now when they go back after 30 years, will they be able to recognize? Nothing. That means what? When I say this is me, what? This body? It has changed so many times. This mind, the thoughts are changing all the time. Then who am I then? That is not the body, not the mind. Then who am I? It's a thoroughly confused person. So naturally, we will think, really, who am I? That don't be afraid of it. We will slowly try to understand the real I is nothing but my consciousness. So it says, you control your mind. O Rama, control your mind. Mind, it seems to many, is consciousness. Mind, it seems to many, is nothing but conscious. It can observe, it can judge, it can discriminate, it can resolve. Then who is it? And possible to go, how it is possible to go beyond mind? The mind, to us, it is a conscious thing, isn't it? Because it is thinking and it is observing, it is analyzing. Now I am talking, and at the back of my mind, all the analysis is going on, what I am going to tell and how I am going to convince my listeners. All this is there. That mind is conscious, isn't it? So if that is so, how it is possible? Then who is it? How it is possible to go beyond the mind? That this is the question that the Rishi Vasistha is going to give answer. O Rama, there does exist the power or energy of the infinite consciousness. Now it is the action that is happening. My mind is observing, analyzing, resolving. It is the conscious work. Body is not doing that. Body is unconscious. When that conscious mind is giving the instruction to the body, then the body is only working. Body is nothing but a machine. Then if you are asking me to go beyond the mind, then who is this mind? What is this mind? And this is also conscious. How it is possible? To answer the Rishi Vasistha, he is telling, O Rama, there does exist the power or energy of the infinite consciousness. The infinite consciousness, that Paramatma or the Brahman, the Sanskrit terminology, that is having some power. That power is Chit Shakti. Chit means consciousness, Chit means knowledge. So Chit Shakti, it is also known as Mahashattva. Mahashattva, great existence. Mohachiti, the great intelligence, etc. But this power is not different from absolute Brahman. This power is also not different from the absolute Brahman. Sages make a verbal distinction between Brahman and the power, kinetic power. So these are same. Now if we go back to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was the worshipper of goddess Kali. And many people, they misunderstand Kali. The goddess Kali is nothing but the image of this thought. The consciousness which is lying at the feet of that mother, and she is standing on the chest of that, is the male and the female. It will be easy for us to understand. That is why the Lord Shiva is a male, white Sattva. When it is pure Sattva, it's not working, it cannot work, it only can think. And for the work you need other two qualities, Raja and Tama. And Hindus have colored it in this way. The Sattva is white, Raja is red, and dark, Tama is dark. So these are the three colors. Goddess Kali, the same Shiva in the form of mother working. Isn't it this? So the power, kinetic power, and the consciousness, they are the same. Only two different names. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling Kali and Shiva are the same. They are not separate. Then he gives the example like the fire and its burning capacity. The fire, you cannot differentiate the burning capacity. It is the same. The infinite consciousness alone appears as one thing in one place and another thing in another place. There is no division between the consciousness and its power, as there is no division between wave and the water. When you see the waves on the ocean and the waves as if are different. As a huge big wave is coming, we don't call that ocean, we call it wave. And a separate name has been given, a separate form is there. But is it different from the ocean? The same ocean, taking that name and form. Similarly, friends, all these names and forms are nothing but the same consciousness. Sri Rama then asking again, Honorable Sir, when the only reality is the infinite consciousness and its inherent power, how does the jiva appear? There are only two things. One is the consciousness, another it is power, and they are inseparable. That we can understand. But what we are, the jiva, the individual beings, the individual self, all so many varieties, how they are separate then? If the two things are there, consciousness and its power, where from this variety came? And in those varieties there are consciousness, conscious being, very intelligent being, like the human. Then the Guru Vasistha replied, it is in the mind of the ignorant alone does this jiva or individual self arise. Friends, this is a very bold answer, but it is from the viewpoint of the Advaitic Vedanta, Advaita. There is no two conception, it is only one. So obviously when we are studying the Yoga Vasistha, is the best book for the Advaita Vedanta. And here the Vasistha, the great Rishi, he is expounding that knowledge to his disciple Sri Ramachandra. So obviously we are discussing this viewpoint, we should not mix up with other viewpoints. And he says, where do you see the varieties? It is all misunderstanding. You are imagining. in fact, there is nothing. You are just imagining. So this is the point we have to remember when you are starting Advaita Vedanta. And if we try to follow the path of knowledge, there cannot be many. There is only one. And that one consciousness also having the power of creation, power of sustenance, and power of dissolution. It is all with it. And this creation is all imagination, just like that. And what is mind? Mind is but agitation of the consciousness. Vasistha, Rishi Vasistha is giving this answer. Mind is nothing but the agitation in consciousness. And the world exists nowhere but in mind. That is the world. Now, suppose we are coming from India. My background is from India. I grew up over there. And in our society, in the locality, in India, most of the part, I know, I can understand that this type of people in these provinces, their behavior is like this, their features are like this, their food habits are like this. I can understand that. Another person grew up maybe in America. He will never imagine the condition of India. Can he? No. So his or her world will be only circled in America, where she or he was born, grew up, and that is the idea. Oh, this is the world. The conception of the world is in our mind. Now it has become very broadened. We can understand many other parts of the world because of the development of the science. I am sitting over here in my room in Chicago and reaching to you live. I am just talking and you are listening over there. You are seeing me over there. Just because of the science. We could harness the power of the nature and utilize that and doing it. That is a different thing. But think about it. What is your world? Only whatever you think. What is my world? Only whatever I think. And now I will request you to remember the lecture, the great lecture Swami Vivekananda gave and in the Parliament of World Religions in 1893, 11 September. What did he say? The story of two frogs. And very interesting for the children. But that he was telling to before the 7,000 the great minds of America and Europe. 7,000 and two frog story. One frog grew up in a well. It never went out, never saw anything. So for it only that well was the world. Another frog came from the ocean. It was a huge body. But by mistake it fell into that. Then this whale frog came to attack. Then afterwards, so no, it looks like me. Hey, you look like me. Are you a frog? He said, yes, sir, I am also a frog. Where from you are coming? I am coming from the ocean. Oh, ocean. That must be smaller than my well, isn't it? Then he jumped from one end to another. And the frog from the ocean, he said, sir, don't try to measure the ocean like this. It's a huge, 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 millions and millions of whales like this will be merged into that ocean. What are you thinking about? Then he said, no, I don't believe you. You are a liar. My grandfather told this is the biggest water body in the whole world. My father also lived in it. I am also. You go away. So Swami Vivekananda said, don't make your mind narrow like that. You have born over there, it's good. Come out, see the other things. If you like to continue, no problem. But understand and then. So what we are trying to do with this Vedantic scripture, trying to understand the vastness. And what is that vastness? I am not there as I am thinking now, but I am there in a different form, that I am the consciousness. So the Hindu ultimately goes and says, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that consciousness. When you are studying the Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, in the last verse, that is the one, I think last verse, it says that I am praying to you, but don't think I am praying like a servant. I am you, I am that. So I have the authority, I have the right to understand. So remove that cover and I have to see myself over there. So that is Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham tattam pushan apabridu satya dharmaya drishtaye. Remove that golden plate covering the face of the truth. I have come to see that truth because I am that truth. Because I am that. Without me there is nothing. Who is this me? When the Jesus said, come and give it everything to me, immediately some people will say, oh, it is only Jesus. Except Jesus there is nothing. Wrong. When the Lord Krishna says, much before Jesus, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. And some people will say, only Krishna and there is nothing. Again wrong. Again that narrowness. Who is this Krishna? Who is this Jesus? Pure consciousness. When you think of that, then the Lord is everywhere, everything. So this is the way slowly we are trying to go to that ultimate truth. And he says, what is mine? But agitation of the consciousness. And it seems it exists because of the imperfect understanding, ajnana. We are thinking that we are separate because of the imperfect understanding. It's nothing more than a long dream. It is the truth. If the truth is understood, then all duality will vanish. One non-dual, infinite consciousness will only remain and nothing else. I and my God in heaven are one. And the Lord Jesus is telling. That means there is no Father and the Son. There is only one consciousness. And we are thinking in a two different way. Because we cannot think that oneness. That is our weakness. And we are imposing and philosophizing and then forcing other people also to follow that I am separate, they are separate, God is separate, those people, their gods are different, those people, we don't follow them, and we are fighting over here and asking our next generation also to prepare to fight. Think of these ignorant people. They are not satisfied, they don't understand, but because of the ego they think they have understood it. So the Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, it says there is no two, it is only one. You are imagining two. Try to understand it. It is a long dream. If this truth is understood, then all duality will vanish. Hence the mind, which is the root cause of seeing one as many and run after them, creating only bondage and suffering, should be vanquished, should be conquered. My own mind doesn't belong to me. The great Guru Vasistha therefore said to his illustrious disciple Sri Rama to go beyond the mind, and he explained in this way: Esha sabhava abhimatam swataha sankalpa dhavati chetana swayam amlana Sa eva iha mana atmana is the 4th chapter, 1st verse of the Yoga Vasistha. And here we find Esha means this. Swabhava abhimatam, as per its nature. Swabhava, nature. Abhimatam, as per its nature. Swataha, on its own. Sankalpa, imagine. Then dhabati, runs after that. I just broke it. Now, what is the mind? It imagines. And after the imagination, try to pursue that. It's very peculiar. We can give the example in this way that one person who is in the desert, very thirsty, and start imagining water. It's not real. He is imagining because he is thirsty. He is hungry and he sees the mirage. And when he sees the mirage, he goes over there and he finds nothing. When I first came to America, some devotee was driving. Then I found there is a restaurant hanging, supporting both the wall of the road. It's a big road. Hundreds of vehicles are passing. And on that, suddenly, there's like a bridge, a restaurant. And the name of the restaurant, like that all the restaurants are named, Mirage. I told that's a very wonderful name. Let us visit the Mirage. Usually when you go to Mirage, you don't find anything. But let us go and have a cup of tea in this Mirage at least. So we went to the Mirage. What is this Mirage? Imagination. And the beautiful name that I have given. Why? Because on the road, how can you see a restaurant with all the food and the people and everything hanging? You just take a turn and go over there and you get everything. But this is the conception. What is the mirage then? We imagine and we throw that imagine before us. Then we run after that imagination. Result? Suffering. So that is exactly what it's telling. Who did it? No, somebody didn't say, hey, look at that, it's a water mirage. No, I myself developed that mirage. Esha, this, swabhava abhimatam sataha, as per its nature of the mind, sataha, of its own, sankalpa, imagine, then dhabati. Then try to pursue that, to get that. Chetana sayam amlana, consciousness, chetana means chaitanya, chetana, consciousness, swayam itself, amlana, untainted. The consciousness has no desire. That is why it is untainted. You know, friends, what is purity? Desire-free mind. Blessed are those who are pure in heart. I always quote this. What is this purity? We don't know. We don't understand. But we quote Jesus. Blessed are those who are pure in heart. And we are thinking, feeding some poor people and taking a snap of that and sending to our friends. Look at it. I have fed the poor and my mind is pure. No. You have the desire to get the appreciation of your friends. It is not pure. The purity means free from desire, completely. Amlana, mlan, that is not lively. Amlana is completely full of life, pure, is bright. So that is the consciousness. Why? Because it has no desire. Chetana sayam amlana, sa eva iha mana atmana, that only here mind own. So this is, in a running meaning we can say, Rishi Vasistha said, the consciousness itself is pure, having no changes, birth, then the growth, then the death, is all from big desire. But this consciousness, as if become its mind and self, create imaginative objects and run after them. This moment rise in the mind all sorts of false notion like I am born, I am old, etc. So when we are going on thinking, we think that I am old. And by that way, I imagine. I have seen some people imagine, like this. So Lord Buddha, the Lord Buddha, he was growing up as a prince in a very comfortable life. Then suddenly one day when he was almost 24, he went out because his father was not allowing him to go out, because the astrologers, they said he will be a great king either or a great monk. The father was afraid that he should not become a monk. Monk means giving away the family and going away. So let him be a big king. So he was training him to become a big king. And king means comfort, life, all that. He was having that. When he grew 24, and by that time he married, he had a child also, a son. Then the father told, now he is settled down, there is no problem, let him go out. That is, we have to believe the fate. It is already written and no one can change it. This young man of 24, the prince, he went out and the first thing he saw, an old man. He never saw old man. His father told, never brought the old man, all young people. So he grew up, because our mind, whatever we see, wherever he grew up, that is our world. So the Gautamas, the Siddhartha's world was that first it broke when he saw an old man. Somehow with the help of a stick, he is moving. He asked his charioteer, his friend, what is it? Who is he? Is he a human being? He is an old man. Old man? Do you think I will become old? Yes, you will also grow to old age. And oh my God, I am going to be old. This next day, he saw a sick person. Am I going to be sick? Oh yes. Then he saw a dead person. Then I am going to die? Yes. Then finally on the fourth day, he saw a sannyasi, a monk. Then who is he? He is not afraid at all, because he has given up all the desires. We are afraid because we have the desires. He doesn't bother about it. That was the inspiration of the young Siddhartha to go away. So that is called the sannyasa. Now, the time is short. To achieve true knowledge, one has to go beyond mind, that is, making the mind still. Going beyond the mind means, we have to understand again, to summarize, mind is nothing but the thoughts. The thought waves is nothing but different desires. When these desires are completely stilled, then obviously we go beyond mind. Beyond mind is a way we are expressing it. But going beyond mind means making the mind still. And now a word is very, very famous in the whole world is the meditation. What is that meditation? That concentration is nothing but going beyond your mind, going or stopping your thoughts. Now, to make the mind still, one has to give up all desires. O Rama, consciousness in different condition becomes differently. Now, the Guru is giving his teaching in this way. The world appearance is the waking state. Now, he is going to the deep Vedanta. This world that we see in the waking state, of course, we know, everyday experience. Egoism or egotism, in the dream state, it appears. Because I is there. I am seeing the dream. Otherwise, how can I see the dream? My body is still, body is sleeping, but my mind is there active, so I see the dream. See how they are analyzing. Waking state, then the dream state. Who is there in the dream state? My ego, I. Then mind stop in the deep sleep. Only my consciousness is there in the deep sleep. I don't see the dream. That means mind is inactive. I am just sleeping. That means body is inactive. When the body is not there, mind is not there, still something is there. When I come back from that deep sleep, I feel fresh and say, oh, today I had a dreamless sleep. I am very happy. That proves the consciousness. Every day we are going to that consciousness unknowingly. And that's why the moment we get up from the bed, again we are bound. Like after getting up, again this coffee, again this, that. We forget, hey, I went to the liberation. I went beyond my mind. So isn't every day we are going there? That's why they say, when you are under the guidance of your guru, when you are meditating and reaching to that place where you go into deep sleep, going there consciously, knowingly, that is called the fourth stage, Turiya. So that where we can say going beyond the mind. Thank you, friends. We will discuss this in our next class again. So if there is any question, let us try to answer.
So the first question is from Kunal Kumar Roy. He is asking, what is reality? Is it created by our own mind?
Yes, Kunalji, yes. According to the Advaita Vedanta, that is the reality. They explain in that way. From the Dvaitic, from the devotional point of view, they will say God has created it. So as the Christianity, as the Hindu, and all the Muslim, Islam, they also say the God has created it. But the Vedanta will say, no, you have created it. That is the difference. Thank you.
It's a two-part question from Devashis. He's saying there are instances in life which are not related to desire. When you see your friends, relatives are doing wrong, even after showing them the correct path, they are not following the same. How to control our mind in such situation, knowing they are friends and relatives?
Is it not desire of you to control them, to rectify them? This is also a desire. So desire to help them, but that is also a desire, isn't it? Desire is there. And when that desire is not satisfied, if they had listened to your words and they were disciplined by that way, you would not have asked this question. Because your advices are not followed by those people whom you think you are very close, your friend and relatives, you are finding dissatisfaction. It is desire also. Mm-hmm.
The next question is from Jayanti Ghosh. She is asking, if my mind is not completely pure, then I will not be able to read Bhagwat Purana?
This has nothing to do. In Bhagwat Purana, Swami Vivekananda said, one's mind should be pure before that. That's true. The pure means, you know what? Because the description in the Purana, in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purana means Bhagavatam, and in the 10th chapter, in the life of Sri Krishna, there are a lot of descriptions which describes about the women and the dresses and all that. Sometimes when you are reading that, maybe the body consciousness come. So Swamiji is telling, as because they are giving the description of the Lord God, you should not have that type of mentality. That is why not? If you go to Khajuraho, you will find a peculiar, depicting all over the temples, just on the body of the temples. And majority of the people will go over there and taking the photos and all that. And they will never bother about going inside the temple. That is temptations. They don't understand why they have depicted all those the postures on the wall of the temple. It is a pure place. Why? One should be courageous to withdraw the mind. My purpose is to go to God, not to see all this nonsense. I will go straight. That is the devotee. The God is waiting inside. And when you go inside, you see within your heart as if the God is sitting. So that's why purity of mind you are already having. So that is why the desire to study the Bhagavata has come. Don't bother about that. Study it, read it.
The next question is from Kamal Chaudhary. He is asking, can you please explain the meaning of golden lid in the words, remove that golden lid?
Yeah, that is in our Ishopanishad. It says, as the prayer goes into that, it says, when one goes very close to the truth, then a lot of temptation comes. In the life of Buddha, he has said the Mara, M-A-R-A. Mara came along with his 5 daughters, and he was tempting the Lord Buddha with one after another daughters. The Buddha refused all them. Then finally Mara himself came. Buddha refused that. And he was not afraid at all. Then ultimately that it broke. The bondage broke and he became Buddha. Same thing we find in the life of Lord Jesus. There's temptation. He overcome that. And the golden plate is nothing but the temptation in the at the last stage of realization. So hiranmayena patrena satyasya pitam mukham. Don't show me all these glittering things. I don't need that. This wealth, the name, fame, I don't need. That is the meaning of it. Thank you.
The next question from Srima Vishwas. She is asking, what is mind?
Srima, just now we read that here the Vasistha said it is actually the consciousness when it is moving, that is the mind, that is the desire. We are conscious, but then it is just activity comes, that is called the mind. But the yoga, Patanjali Yoga Darshan says, mind is nothing but the storehouse of lot many desires, the thought. That is mind.
The next question is from Shashi Bhushan. He is asking, Swamiji, do you mean individuality is searching universality or vice versa?
The conception of the universality and the individuality, and that is one and many, or the microcosm and the macrocosm, it is actually one. So, moment the Swami Vivekananda, when he was traveling in the Himalaya, and the Kakri Ghat is a place where he reached, he meditated, and after the meditation, he was very happy, and he told his brother monk, I have broken that all the problem, I have solved. So whatever is there within me is there in the whole world. What is there in the microcosm is also in the macrocosm. So that macrocosm, the conception of macrocosm with the different names and forms should be dissolved. Only the consciousness and nothing else. If that is, then it is okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let us say a Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.